All right, we are live. Welcome back, everyone. J Bone here for Smash This Podcast. Oh, ready to talk some Impact Wrestling for this week. This week's review. Hope you're all having a good weekend. Sorry I didn't get this out last night like I wanted to. Just wasn't going to happen. Mrs. J Bone had successful knee surgery, and I mean successful. She's doing better now after this one than her first one. So this is her second one. So the fact that she's doing better with this one is, I think, I'll call that a mild miracle. But after yesterday, there was just no way it was going to happen. Too fried, too long of a day. Couldn't even sit through half of Impact Wrestling. Just couldn't do it. Blood Rain is in the chat. What is up? Saw a Moxley to Impact rumor earlier tonight. You saved it for the perfect time right after I got off of work. So glad to see the old lady feel better. Yeah, my old lady's doing pretty good. I mean, she still has, rehab and stuff to do, but the fact that she woke up this morning after having surgery yesterday and was just walking around the house, I just damn near fell off the bed watching her do that. So yeah. Mrs. J Bone is tough. Let's say that. She is. That's interesting. Everyone's talking about Moxley and where he could be going. I know I've heard that he's scheduled to show up at a few different places over the next few months, but nothing specific has been said. So I think the odds are pretty good that he could show up at Impact. I'd love for him to work with Callahan. We just got to be patient and wait and see. If I'm just shocked that he's back on social media, or that he's on social media. Period. You know what I mean? That's crazy. She'll be moving better than you in no time. We knew that. We knew that a long time ago. Nothing is can't keep that woman down. She's my rock. She's my inspiration. So, all right, let's jump into this review. This is Rebellion Fallout, coming from the same complex as Rebellion. So we have an interesting situation in Impact Wrestling right now. We do not, I should say we have a world champ, but the world champ is not around. He got pretty banged up at Rebellion and got hauled off to the hospital. We are supposed to get an update next week on the condition and update on Brian Cage. So I'm sure, this week he's having x-rays, MRIs, all that kind of stuff. I mean, if what I'm hearing is correct about how his back is feeling and the numbness in his legs, that's not good. That's not good. From a guy who has had 3 back surgeries himself, I can tell you it's nothing to mess with. Let's hope it's not as bad as I think it is. Because if it is, I can't even imagine the road ahead of him. So let's hope that all those muscles in his lower back protected him, and that he just got what do they call that? A contusion or something? Um, bruised, and that maybe a couple nerves got struck. Let's just hope for that. Man, and we had some more people falling off that ramp. There was that Spanish fly that did it for him. We had a couple people falling off of there. Um, what was that? I know I'm jumping around here, so bear with me. But Kiera Hogan fell off that ramp during this episode too. That's like a what is it? Like a 4 foot dump? Just just flat. That's big. Blood Rain in the chat says there's a return at the tapings, but I cannot say who it is. Uh a friend of that talent let let me know. Oh, okay. All I can say is that talent has been with Impact before. Oh, all right. We had Phoenix nearly break his neck. Yeah, he took a bad bump off that ladder. That another bad Spanish fly. Two bad Spanish flies in one night. He was trying to do the, circle around backwards, and he stopped midway through and just dumped straight on his head. But he looked good tonight. I mean, that Phoenix, damn, he's just. How many lives does Phoenix have? I mean, seriously, that kid is one tough SOB. So Lucha Brothers, not performing together tonight. Interesting. Separate matches. Critical Sting is in the chat. What is up? I forgot how good Elgin was before this episode. You know what, dude? I gotta say the same thing. I do. Because he's been in New Japan, and I don't watch a lot of New Japan, and I know he was having, from what I heard, good matches over there, but I wasn't watching him on a regular basis like I was back years ago when he was practically running the show in Ring of Honor. I met him. I want to say 2012. It was a few years after I got together with my wife, and we went to what was basically the comeback Milwaukee show for Ring of Honor. And they've been back a handful of times since, which is nice. They haven't been back lately, I don't think. But I met Rhino, Jay Lethal, Michael Elgin, and Kevin Steen was the champ at the time. So that was a nice little lineup of guys that I got to meet. That was pretty cool. So, Blood Rain says Johnny had a bad slip up in the main event. Looked bad. Yeah, it looked like he was trying to do a hurricanrana or whatever off the apron onto the floor with Pentagon, and just Johnny didn't get hardly any of it, and then Pentagon just kind of fell onto the floor to continue the move. He didn't get up after that, so I don't know if he fell wrong or what. I haven't heard anything. Let's hope he's okay too. Critical Sting says, I've been waiting for Lucha Bros to split up, also to see Phoenix go for the X Division title again. Yeah, that'd be great. That'd be great, hey? Blood Rain says, why have I never noticed everything and your background is mirrored? Is it? I guess it is. Excuse me. All right. So let's talk about this episode. Like I said, the champ is not around, and everything is in reverse. Yeah. Elgin comes out and lets the crowd know that we're not getting a typical night after a pay-per-view where the champ comes out and celebrates his victory. No, we didn't, because Cage is champ, but he's not around. Um, Elgin, and he gets a fair reception, but he's acting a little maybe a little too cocky for just walking in the door. He's acting a little heelish. So, and it's kind of interesting reading him on this. He's coming in with some pretty big testicles. I'll say that. Um, Blood Rain says if Cage can't make 30 days, he'll be stripped of the title. Uh, do they still do that? We haven't seen that in a while. I mean, we've seen the E do that, where they get significantly injured and they have to. Oh, we just saw that with Jeff Hardy. Jeff Hardy and his brother had to um, let go of the SmackDown tag titles. He's going to be out for several months. The W's in the chat. What is up? Taya mentioned she. Oh, Taya mentioned she has 30 days to defend her title. Oh, okay. So I guess they do that. So she didn't feel like defending it. Yeah, right. But she is next week, from what I heard. I think we're getting Madison Rayne versus Taya next week. W says Brian Cage finally did it. I like him as champion. I do too. I just feel really bad, and I'm not gonna lie, it is a little awkward that he's not there. Next week is non-title with Taya and Taya and Madison Rayne. Okay, I thought she was defending it. Okay, I missed that detail. I apologize. I saw the match set up. So yeah, Elgin comes out, and then Luscious Locks Mr. Impact comes out, and followed by Conan saying that Pentagon should be the number one contender. That's a very interesting point of view for Conan, just, sliding in there. He must have been having a few shots in the back with his boys, LAX, all the flasks and tequila flowing around. He must have felt pretty bold. Got some confidence kicking juice in there, right? So security comes down, fight breaks out. Elgin takes one of the security guys and just launches him over the top rope into the rest of the security. That was pretty cool. And like I said, not seeing Michael Elgin in a while, you forget how strong he is. He is really a powerhouse. I think he's almost as big as Cage. Honestly, the only difference I think is maybe 20 pounds, and the fact that Cage does a lot more lucha libre type moves. Jump back in the chat here for a little bit. Was fighting Firefox problems, says Blood Rain, something that thousands of people killed off all my browser plugins, which resolved this up earlier today. Oh, okay. Computer problems. Gotta love them. Andre's in the chat. What is up? Good evening, Smashers worldwide, as Andre says. Critical Sting says, what if Elgin feuds with Moose to, in order, form an alliance with the North? Just my fantasy booking. Interesting. Elgin is a tank. Damn Skippy. Elgin's more power than fitness, says Blood Rain. Yeah, I think, but he's still a very good, um, still a very good wrestler. Yes, absolutely. Huh. That's actually a really interesting point of view, Critical Sting, about Elgin feuding with the North and then the North siding with Elgin. I actually like that idea. I mean, it's a big like Canadian alliance, and I'm good with that. You know, I mean, we had that back in the day in the way early days of TNA, some 15 whatever years ago. Um, what was that? Team Canada. It was Bobby Roode, Petey Williams, Eric Young, and then there was a couple people that floated in and out. Scott Demore or Coach Demore was obviously the manager. I feel like I'm forgetting someone. I'm trying to remember who was all in there. Someone will pop it up in the chat because I thought it was at least four. Corbeil says, I can't believe I worked with Elgin on the road for 2 different dates and I let the interview slide away, and boom, 2 weeks later he shows up in Impact. Hey, what are you gonna do? I'm sure he'll be back around. I'm sure he'll have a chance, Andre. You've been getting some good ones. Go to Andre Corbeil's channel. He's getting some decent interviews lately. His latest one that I saw on there, put it on my to-do list, is he's got a interview with I can picture the guy from the Brood, the vampire guy. Damn it, what the hell's his name? Andre, fill in the blank. Who is it? Gangrel. Sorry, like wow, brain fart there. Yes. So that's the latest interview on his channel. He's got some great Canadian wrestling on there. Blood Rain says, my understanding is Elgin was scooped up by Impact before the dirty WWE could nab him. Well, everyone's trying to get everyone to help fill rosters and, change the face of wrestling and keep a step up above on the next guy. So what are you going to do? It's a competition. Critical Sting says, rise of the factions, new Team Canada, OVE, and an expanded LAX. Yeah. I mean, there's always stuff changing and alliances forming and stuff. Jack Evans, Teddy Hart were in the original Team Canada from what I remember. Okay, that I don't remember. That I do not remember. I don't remember ever seeing them on the early days of Impact. I could be wrong though. Johnny Devine, Teddy Hart, Jack Evans. Okay. I remember Johnny Devine, but I don't remember Teddy Hart and Jack Evans. Was that maybe way back before like the regular TV stuff? God, I gotta go back and look. Ruben, that's a new name in the chat that I don't think I've seen before. Welcome, Ruben. He says, RVD looks different now on Impact Wrestling. Well, he is a little older and has not been on TV in a while. We'll have to see how damn awesome he is. We'll have to see if he's the whole effing show still, won't we? Corbeil says he's got a Matt Taven interview coming as well. The Ring of Honor champ. Nice. Video froze. Well, hopefully it's back and fixed. There we go. Hopefully you'll put this greatness up on the website as well, Jay. All right. But W says I'd like to see Jack Evans in MLW. I'd like to see him on my TV, period, dude. He's so good. He was around for the Vegas tapings for Impact. That was nice to see. Blood Rain says very early Team Canada. Oh, okay. with Teddy. All right. Corbeil says, "Bring in the nasty boys." LOL, JK. Oh no. Oh, those days when Hogan brought in all of his buddies. Jeez Louise. That was, I mean, I liked a couple of the new faces that they brought in, but yeah, that the nasty boys really did nothing in TNA back then, did they? That was almost 10 years ago now, eh? Wow. How times change. Corbeil says A1, Johnny Devine, Gail Kim, Bobby Roode, Eric Young, Scott D'Amore. Okay. We need to see MLW and Impact work together more. Yeah, I mean, they did during WrestleMania weekend a little bit. There was a few people that didn't show up for the Impact event due to traffic issues, trying to get across town to different events and whatever. But hey, it's what are you gonna do? It happens, I guess. Eugene Evans is in the chat. What is up? Code Red is later tonight. Yes, absolutely. Major League Impact next Mania weekend. Right? Would love to see the New Heart Foundation versus LAX. Well, LAX showed up in MLW during the Battle Riot with Conan. So they had a little mini face-off against the Heart Foundation then. It lasted just a couple minutes, and then it was boom, done. LAX was eliminated. But it was fun while it was lasted. The LAX and Conan got quite the pop that night. All right, back to this review. I'm all over the place reading the chat, but thanks for chatting it up. I'll come back to it in a little bit. All right, so this fight at the beginning of the episode sets up a number one contendership match for Cage's newly crowned championship. Elgin versus Impact versus Pentagon to headline the evening. And it goes on to talk about how Cage is out for an undetermined amount of time. We should get an update next week, hopefully. And yeah, like I said, hopefully it's just a bruised back and whatnot. I'm sure we're going to find out sooner than later. Next, we have this match between Ace Austin and Petey Williams, kind of continuing their little X Division feud. And they had a hell of a match. These two guys, wow. And Ace Austin coming out with a win here, in my personal professional opinion. I kind of feel like this was a bit of a passing of the torch, as in Petey Williams losing was telling the rest of the world that, hey, this guy is going to be the guy to watch in the X Division and Impact Wrestling. That's how I felt this win came off. And I'm good with that. Petey Williams comes around when they do a lot of Canadian tapings for Impact Wrestling, and he's not on the road on a regular basis anymore, and I'm good with that. If he comes back and still puts on a hell of a show every few months, or once a quarter or whatever, they're around in the northeast end of the states or up in Canada or whatever, I'm good with that. I don't have to see Petey Williams all the time. He is legit like the last like original member that pops up every now and then and still puts on a hell of a show. So props to Ace Austin for this win. The guys, especially Don Callis, really putting him over. And if you pay attention to Don, because Don and Scott D'Amore obviously run the show, if you pay attention to what Don says during certain times, you can really tell who who they like, who they want to push, who is the future of the brand. Ace Austin, I firmly believe, is going to be one of those guys. Next, we have a match between oh, one note I put in here about the Ace Austin Petey Williams, um, which is just another, I don't want to say confirmation, but when he started out, it was just okay, Ace Austin showed up. But then in the weeks following that, he started acting heelish. Now he's got this card trick where he takes a I'm using a wrestling card here. This is just an example, but he takes the card, and he's got him in a submission. He takes a card and slices it between the, no, I'm kidding. I didn't really hurt myself there. Slices it between their fingers, um, as a form of offense with the ref not looking, and that really gets in the head of the opponent, because you get a paper cut, and you get something on that paper cut, and that pain just radiates up your hand all the way up your arm, and it messes with you, and it's like you got to stop and take care of it. Well, it's the same thing with Ace Austin. He's doing this to his opponents, and it freezes him in the ring for just long enough that he can pull off some more moves and take him out. Kid's smart. Kid's smart. Now we got this match between Rosemary bringing out her new pet. It's it's bring your pet to work day at Impact Wrestling. In fact, I saw another new pet around here recently. Not my pet by any means. Um, my wife's daughter showed up with her boyfriend, and they just got a new dog. And this dog was just beautiful, very friendly, and yeah. So I'm not going to be showing him off on camera unless he comes back to the house sometime in the near future. We'll have to see. But yeah, it was. We had some new pets floating around Casa de J Bone today. Pretty cool. Um, so yeah, because Impact Wrestling is pet friendly, as we had the pet of Rosemary come out, the undead maid of honor. Rosemary going up against Kiera Hogan, and I gotta say, I really enjoyed this match. It ended in, I guess, you could say DQ. Sometimes they call it DQ. Sometimes they call it no contest. So I guess Rosemary actually comes out with the win here in a sense. It's not like Kiera Hogan called out Su Yung to attack Rosemary. So, what are you going to do? Um, so yeah, Su Yung and her undead army come out, and they just swarm Rosemary, and they're just kicking her ass. And Kiera Hogan comes back from her. Okay, this is the part that I was talking about earlier, where Kiera Hogan takes the bump off of the ramp and drops like 4 feet off the ramp onto the cement floor, and so she's down there for a while Su Yung and her undead army storm the ring. They're kicking Rosemary's ass. Kiera Hogan finally gets up, and she's like, "Oh, I'll help Rosemary," because I think there's still a level of respect there, because they both were in that same fight to help bring back Allie. And Kiera Hogan, see, she's getting a little smarter. The fans may not have appreciated that she walked away from this fight, but that's smart. And I can totally respect that because I know if I was going to get in the ring and I had five people from the undead army turn around and stare at me at the exact same time, um, I probably would have peed down my leg a little bit and ran away like a little girl. Not gonna lie, yeah, probably would have let out a few prepubescent screams as well. Yep, yep. And return to fight another day. So yeah, Kiera Hogan takes off. And she's like, no, I've done this before. I'm not doing this again. Which is smart on her part, and we'll have to see where this goes. But Su Yung gets her undead maid of honor back and saves her from the chains of Rosemary. So it's like, okay, so who do you actually root for in this fight? That's kind of the confusing factor here. But I just like the storyline, so it's I just take it for face value. Um, but yeah, this is an old fight between Rosemary and Su Yung. Um, I saw a clip. Oh gosh, where was that? I don't know, online somewhere, and it was from last year where Su Yung and Rosemary were fighting. I think it was right before Rosemary went away for a while. So and then we got LAX celebrating in the locker room. It's also Bring Your Flask to Work Day apparently lately at Impact Wrestling, and Ortiz is he's just pounding the drinks, and everyone's in a very celebratory mood in LAX, and then Conan talking about all the upcoming stuff that they've got going on. Several different tag team matches lined up. People want their championships. So you always got to stay on their toes. And so he takes the drinks away from Ortiz. He takes the money away from Santana, who's sitting there just counting his money like the pimp that he is. And uh, gets the money taken away, leaves him with one bill, whatever it is. And Ortiz takes that from him to go get more alcohol. And Santana just looks at the camera like, really? Thanks a lot, guys. so that was pretty funny. But yeah, uh, LAX are champs again, and there's some fresh blood in the locker room to go up against. So yeah, can't wait to see who they defend it against first. From what I heard, it Sunday night at Code Red, they're going to defend their championships. They're also House of Glory championships, HOG champs, or tag team championships. Um, and so I don't know exactly what's on the line. I didn't read the whole card, but from at a glance, it looked like it was pretty fun. Those Impact house shows are usually pretty fun because you see some new faces, scattered in with some very good Impact talent. So that's up in northeast end of the country somewhere. I didn't see exactly where it is. Oh, what did they? Oh, they said it's in New York, I guess. Um, Someplace New York, whatever it is. Jamaica, New York. I think I've heard of it before. They might have been there before. That or some other place was in this same little setting, like Evolve or something. So I think I've seen this before sometime within the last few years. So should be a good show. Looking forward to that. It's going to be the first show on Impact Plus. So if from from what I understand, and I didn't read all the details on this. I did go check out the site. It looks like everything works a lot smoother than the GWN. Um, Not that there was anything majorly wrong with the GWN app, but obviously they wanted to get away from the whole global, the GFW, because that all came at the same time, and the failed Jeff Jarrett experiment and all that kind of stuff. So, wow, you guys are chatting it up like crazy. That's awesome to see. Jump back in here real quick. Corbeil says, I don't know if you saw my comment earlier, Jay, but please feel free to post this. Good flow as always. Oh, we always flow in here on Smash This Podcast. I think they would. I said I walked away. Scared. She's okay. Blood Rain says that Kira was smart by walking away. I agree. W says Impact Plus name is a ripoff from UFC ESPN Plus. No, I don't think that's a direct ripoff. No, I don't think so. That's an interesting opinion, W, but I don't think you're right there. Blood Rain. Oh yes, talking about Aldis. Yeah, I saw that post about him and the whole thing about. Oh yeah, Willie Mack. Let's talk about that for a minute. I'm not gonna give Aldis any shine because he doesn't deserve it. He wants to be negative or whatever. That's fine. Willie Mack was signed to a multi-year contract at Impact Wrestling. And that's great. I also heard Rich Swann was recently signed as well, so that's great to see. Blood Rain says Aldis tarnishes the NWA name. He needs to be stripped of the belt. Yeah, you know what? I was excited about the NWA stuff last year. This year, I don't know. I mean, I heard from people talking about it that the Crockett Cup went well. I have not watched it yet. It's in my to-do list. I may do it. I may not. Wasn't planning on reviewing it though, but I was a lot more excited last summer when they were talking about it. But the fact that it took them like almost a year to pull it off was like, all right. They've just been very inconsistent. And I think people were hoping for bigger things for the NWA product, but apparently they've been moving at a snail's pace. But hey, it's still a thing. I still want it to be around. I think Billy Corgan's just not. I'm not going to say he's doing a bad job by any means, but I just don't think he has the funds like we thought he did to really pull off something big with the NWA. He doesn't have a, shall we say, Tony Khan in his pocket. Blood Rain says the NWA 20-year plan. Bore us to death for 20 years. Ooh. Harsh words there, Blood Rain. Santana Garrett was at the Crockett Cup. Yeah, I heard about that. Corbeil says, I don't see how Magnus saying what he said to Willie Mack being all that bad. Everybody who's been through the Impact revolving doors has had different experiences. Nick is allowed to have his opinion. I think it was more. I think I'd have to go back and see exactly what Nick said. I think it was more aimed at the fact that Willie was dealing with some stuff from his Lucha Underground situation. I think that's maybe, I'm not sure if maybe people are misunderstanding what Nick said, but it did come off sounding pretty snarky nonetheless. Critical Sting says, yeah, Impact is Carney because they signed one of the best free agents, right? So Carney, yeah. Was hoping to see the NWA return to prominence, but having so few shows and such a terrible champion does not help. I mean, I think Nick is a good champ. It's just they're not. What they're doing is not seen worldwide, and it really needs to be shown worldwide if you're going to grow the brand. Nick may be defending it all over the place, but if we aren't seeing it, it's like it's not even happening. And I know he's doing it. I like him. I think he's doing an okay job, but I think he's been champ way too long. I think they need to shake it up, and I don't know. And from what I've heard, he's not even under contract. I'll read a couple more here, and I'll jump back into the review here in a second. Blood Rain says Aldous needs to bury the sour grapes and shut his pile. Oh, Ruben, I'm not even going to read that one out loud. We're talking Impact here, buddy. We're not going to talk about Goldberg. I love Goldberg, but we're not going to talk about him. Okay. Thank you, though. Critical Sting says, I saw reports that NWA believe AAA steered Mac to sign with Impact. Well, see, the thing is, those who are still stuck in the contract with Lucha Underground, and Impact has those ties with AAA, which is under the same belt of Lucha Underground, the same entertainment scheme there. Scheme sounds so negative, but you know what I'm saying. That's why so many people from Lucha Underground have showed up in Impact Wrestling, because of the ties between Impact and AAA. Okay. So it only made sense for Willie Mack to stick around and get a bigger, thing going on in Impact Wrestling because of the AAA alliance there. They don't do it all the time, but I think we're going to see a little more coming up because they are promoting that Madison Square Garden show. So we're going to see a few Impact faces in there. Ty is going to be in there. Tessa Blanchard's going to be in there. Pentagon, Phoenix, and yeah, that's going to be a big show. I'm happy for AAA. It's going to be a landmark event. Pretty cool. So until everyone who wants out of their Lucha Underground contracts, they do have the freedom to wrestle in a fair amount of places, especially Impact Wrestling, because like I said, those ties are there. So, yeah. All right. We'll jump back into the review here. We talked about LAX. Next, we had a great match between Phoenix and Eddie Edwards. I don't know if these two have ever faced before. Pretty cool, though. Phoenix comes out with a win here, but only because a certain Killer Cross was lurking on the ramp and then distracted the hell out of Eddie Edwards. See, and what I thought was happening here, how Killer Cross was doing the whole Sean O'Hare little shtick with Willie Mack. I thought that that's what he was doing with Eddie Edwards. I thought he was the grabbing Kenny with the kendo stick and saying, as in trying to be influential, like he was doing with Willie Mack. Like, go ahead, use it. You'll lose the match, but you'll feel better about using it against your opponent, won't you? I thought that's what he was doing, but he wasn't. He was just messing with him and getting in his head. So something's going on between Cross and Eddie Edwards now, and I like it. I like it. So, and unfortunately, it looks like Cross is like out of the title scheme now. But and I'm good with that. I'm good with that as much as I want Cross to be up on top of the company. Cross, no matter what he does, there's still going to be eyes on him. He is still going to command a presence because he's Killer Cross, you know. Um, and I have absolutely no doubt in my mind that he's going to end up back at the top somewhere within the next year. I have absolutely no doubt. I, I noticed a few other faces from Impact Wrestling are doing the Starcast too, alongside AEW. I'm not going to overthink this like some Impact fans do. When LAX were chosen to take part in Starcast 2 just less than a month from now. I saw some fans freaking out that, oh, AEW is going to get their claws in them. Okay. We know that there's a contract situation going on and that Conan is trying to get the best possible contracts for the Lucha Brothers and LAX. Okay. Now, don't get me wrong. I love the Lucha Brothers and LAX in Impact Wrestling. But if they can get on a bigger plane, say if AEW is that bigger plane and they can provide better for their families, and if Impact can't match it, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? Like I said, this is a business. You can choose to still watch them wherever they go, or just see what is up next for Impact Wrestling. We've seen, and I've talked about this all year long, folks. Now Killer Cross is showing up for Starcast 2. Are people going to start freaking out about that? I'm not. I'm not worried about it. Killer Cross, I love seeing him every week on Impact Wrestling. Don't get me wrong, but man, that dude needs a worldwide audience. I don't care if it's WWE. I don't care if it's AEW. I don't care where it is. Or if he stays in Impact Wrestling, fine. But man, Cross is a star. He is. He really is. So, we'll see what happens. But yeah, great match between Phoenix and Eddie Edwards. Cross distracting Eddie Edwards by taking Kenny the stick. And then in the process of the distraction, Phoenix then sets up Eddie Edwards for a muscle buster, gets the win, and Cross takes off with Kenny. Is there such a thing as kendo napped? I don't know. Nonetheless, Kenny is stick napped, if you will. I don't know. Is that? I don't know. It's kind of weird. So then we have the comeback of Rob. I'm doing the elbows here, or elbows. Yeah, these are elbows. No, these are thumbs. Sorry, folks, it's late. No, the thumbs, Rob Van Dam. Yeah, wow. That just came off wonderful. So Rob Van Dam is back, folks. I've seen some positive reactions to this, and I've seen some negative. Um, and we're just gonna have to wait and see. I liked what he did with Sabu at United We Stand. I thought he put on a decent match for his age and his abilities with Sabu against almost said LAX, Lucha Brothers, excuse me. And now next week, because of what happened in the ring here, between this little conversation between Ethan Page and him, Ethan Page, telling him that he's not one of his heroes, and I'm sure that really got underneath the skin of Rob Van Dam. And of course, then Rob Van Dam showing Ethan Page that he's got a better use for a chair, gives him his classic Van Daminator. So next week we got Ethan Page, all ego Ethan Page against the Van Daminator himself, Rob Van Dam. RVD, the the Friday Night Delight. He's been like the delight of like every night of the week, pretty much. Ethan Page finally got mic time, says Critical Sting. Yes. Yeah. Just to show how good, Ethan Page is, and he got quite the pop. I want to say that because it was really good to see. WWE has everyone from Impact Wrestling. Yeah, but okay. Well, Jeff Hardy was originally from WWE and WWF back in the day, but Joe. Yeah. They're not using them real well though. Oh, what else here? Blood Rain says, no, J-Bone, WWE would fuck up Cross something fierce. Yeah, I tend to agree. Yeah, I don't think they would know what the hell to do with him. They can barely do anything with Lars. And they're the same but different. Cross is just, a lot more sexy. Which is why he's got Scarlett Bordeaux. RVD is Mr. Insert Day here. Yeah, true. AJ Styles supposedly needed and took another shot at Impact again. Soccer Mom needs to shut his mouth. I heard it was just about a bad T-shirt design or something. It wasn't anything about, anything specifically he did in TNA or the company of Impact Wrestling. I've heard it's not as bad as some people may be. Because I don't think, he may have something to say about how the company just kind of let him go and didn't re-sign him back when there were contract issues. And that's one thing. But the company of Impact Wrestling and TNA back 10 plus years ago are two completely different companies. So if anybody's talking about classic TNA, the current Impact Wrestling fans shouldn't freak out because it's like talking about there's just two completely different things. So I wouldn't worry too much about what he says about Impact. So he said, I wish I could tell you this is the worst thing TNA created with a pic of a bad t-shirt. Oh, yeah. Yeah. And they did some stinky stuff back in the day. Let's not Let's not kid ourselves, you know? And that's not him completely shitting on the company. Okay. Let's look at half of the WWE t-shirts that are out now. They look like shit. They look like a warm, steaming pile of shit. It's words on a t-shirt. My 13-year-old son could come up with something more creative. Okay. You know? So, folks, just don't worry about it. It's not even worth worrying about. It really isn't. So, all right. So, yeah, the Van Daminator, very cool. Rob Van Dam still got that. Still knows how to do it, folks. You know, he may be a little older, a mm, little more smoked. We'll have to see how the all ego Ethan Page match goes against RVD. I'm not gonna put any, predictions into it. I'm not gonna assume anything like some fans are doing out there, like, oh, RVD doesn't have anything to offer. Like I said, let's just wait and see before we judge. Okay. So I'm looking forward to it. I like RVD. You know, we'll see. And I'm sure he's going to bring some of his buddies along to Philly, which those tapings were last night and tonight, from what I heard. And I have not seen any spoilers. I've seen some of the matches they've got lined up in the future episodes. They look like they're a lot of fun. Some looks like some legends are coming back. I'm not against that, as long as they can still walk and talk, and I'm all right with that. And then, like I said, next week we're getting the update on Brian Cage. That's where that was put in there. And then we have the number one contendership match with Elgin versus Impact versus Pentagon. This was a lot of fun. Like I said, it's been a while since we've seen Pentagon in a singles situation where he's by himself and not with his brother Phoenix. And it was also refreshing to see Michael Elgin again. We have not seen him in quite a while. And yeah, he looked good. He looked good. No complaints about what they did in the ring. I know some people are being a little judgmental about some situations that Michael had a handful of years ago in uh, his old company or something that he handed over. And I don't even know all the details, but you know what? Um, if he had did something so horribly criminal, he'd be behind bars, and we would have heard about it as wrestling fans. So I'm taking this as a fresh start. It's we're wiping the slate clean. It's a different company. It's a different time for Michael Elgin, and I'm happy to see him. And I hope you guys are too. You know, let's reserve judgment for the guilty, shall we? So, Critical Sting says like they're not acknowledge the fact that charges got dropped. Yeah, yeah. If they got dropped, don't worry about it. You know, clearing his name. Yeah, yeah. If his name is cleared, then his name is cleared. If you're still gonna hate on the guy, that's like hating on Enzo for a crime he never committed. Like so many do. Which is stupid. It's pointless hate. Why? Why? Life is too short, folks. You know, let's point the emotions that we should be using in our lives to better ourselves and our friends and family around us in the proper direction, shall we? Blood Rains was Enzo was just guilty of terrible rap music. Yeah. I mean, to each their own. I'm not a big rap guy myself, but he's doing this thing and I'm happy for him. He's his own boss. Ruben says, "Will in the future can we see Triple H in Impact Wrestling one day?" I always say never, but that is quite the reach there, Ruben. So W says, if the glove doesn't fit, you must. Okay, you're using some like terms I haven't heard there before. Quit. Okay. Anyways, all right. So that's it for this one. Elgin coming out with the win here. He is the number one contender, and I got a feeling here that with the whole Brian Cage questionable future, um, we'll have to wait and see. I'm not going to assume anything at this point, folks, as far as when Cage is going to come back, when we're going to see this number one contendership match play out between Elgin and Brian Cage. If Elgin's not healthy, he may have to drop the title. We may get a whole new champ within the next month. We'll have to wait and see because there's plenty of shows coming up within the next month between Code Red. We just had the Philly tapings. There's a lot of stuff leading up to the shows down in Texas. They've got a lot of stuff happening down there in Booker T's company, Slammiversary. So, nonetheless, the company is going to figure out. I trust the people in charge, and we're still going to have some solid shows coming up, no doubt in my mind about that. Oh, also very interesting. I want to quick bring this up before we get out of here. Johnny Impact brought his Ultimate X, the big red X, he brought that down to the ring for this match to remind people that he could cash that in whenever he likes against Rich Swann. Very interesting. And who knows how long he's going to hang on to that or how long he's going to have Johnny Bravo come down to the ring and hold it for him. Okay, there's that too. So, solid episode. This being the fallout from Rebellion, that being a great show. And I dug this too. We're starting to get some new stories, some new rivalries set up. It's a fun time in Impact Wrestling. So, got some new champs. We'll have to wait and see what's up with Cage. Hopefully he's fine because I really like the fact that Cage is champ, and I can't wait to see what he does with it. Hopefully he comes out on top in this. So thanks for everyone tuning in. The audio for this will be up soon over at Wrestle Addict Radio. And excuse me. Not sure what's going on tomorrow night as far as me personally. I am going to try to watch Code Red. Looks like it's going to be a fun show. Plenty of Impact guys involved along with some local talents. So no doubt there's going to be some great stuff going on there in Jamaica, New York tomorrow night. So yeah, if it's not too late and things are going smooth over here in Casa de J-Bone, home of Smash This Podcast, we'll do a review afterwards. We'll see. All right. No promises, but I'm going to do my best to do that because it'd be great to, this is the initial big live thing, big test for Code Red. So that's going to be interesting. I hope it all goes smooth, so that we can enjoy it. So we'll have to wait and see how the inaugural live run of Impact Plus goes Sunday night for Code Red. So join me, and we'll see what happens. All right. So, and don't forget, folks, if you're digging the content, if you're new here, there's plenty more of this where it came from. Don't forget to smash that like button, smash that sub button, and ring that bell for notifications so that you know when more of my content hits your screen. Good night, folks. Peace. Have a good one.